Hey everybody, welcome to Sequence. Happy to have you here. Want to take a few minutes to show you one of our newest improvements, which is the playground. This is a space where you can actually test out Sequence before you even sign up to see the power and understand how to use it. So let me show you how to do it. Right here, we've clicked on playground, and as you can see, we can get started building our first Sequence map. So the thing that we always want to start with is adding an income source. And you might be asking, what's an income source? Well, an income source is simply a checking account that we create for you through our partner bank, Thread Bank. Now, we're in the playground right now, which is just a sandbox. Nothing's actually being made. This is just to show you all the functionality and how this all works. But an income source is meant to be the account that your income goes to. So whether you're a W-2 employee getting a biweekly paycheck, or maybe you're paid monthly, or maybe you have your own business, or you're doing multiple side gigs, whatever it may be, you can create as many income sources as you want. Typically, if you're a W-2 income employee, you'll only have one account. Your paycheck will be sent to this new account, which I'll show you exactly how to get that information that you need. And if you have separate accounts, maybe you're a W-2 employee, but you also have a side business, well, then you can create a second income source so that your W-2 income that is already post-tax money can be deposited into one account, and your pre-tax money, maybe your 1099 income, can go into a separate income source so that we can have a different set of flow for that money to make sure that we're setting aside money for taxes, operating expenses, whatever it may be. So I'm going to get started here with a simple situation and just call this our salary. Click OK, and as you'll see, it opens up an account for us. Now, if I click on it, you'll see a few things. We just add a fake balance to start. You'll see the beneficiary John Doe. When you're actually inside of Sequence, it'll have your name, and then it'll have a routing number and account number. Again, these are just dummy numbers right now because we're in the playground experience, but we want to give you the feel of what it actually looks like. Now, when you're in the real experience and you've signed up for Sequence, you'll have a few more options down here. Things that allow you to automatically sync with your HR system so that you can have all of your future deposits go directly into this account, or the ability to print off a PDF so that you can give that to your HR team so that you can now have this be the destination for all of your future paychecks. Once we've created our income source, now what we can do is we can actually start to add our accounts. And like most people, you probably have depository accounts or checking and savings accounts. You probably have an investment account or two, liabilities like credit cards, student loans, car payments, and you may even have some destination accounts, which could be paying a landlord or maybe sending money to a family member or any other type of manual account that you want to sync to this that we may not be able to sync to. So in this instance, I'll click on depository account. It's giving me a checking or savings options. Again, we're just playing around here and setting up a fake account, so we want to make it as easy as possible. When you're inside of Sequence, you'll actually have a different option, which will show you a system using Plaid. Plaid's a fantastic tool that allows us to sync across all the different bank accounts out there. If you've used any of the budgeting tools out there, or maybe you work with a financial advisor and you have some financial planning software, Plaid is primary resource that most companies use because it's so well utilized and so well adopted. We also use 3 other systems like Spinwheel and Method. Again, we're getting into the details and semantics of it, but it's a number of different tools out there that allow us to sync with the different bank accounts to allow us to confirm that it's your account, understand the balance, previous transactions, and to be able to send and take money from those accounts based on the rules that you want to create. So in this case, we'll just add a few accounts here, a checking and a savings account. And again, you'll see it's just adding fake numbers for you in these accounts. We can add our investment accounts. Let's say we have an IRA, we have a 401k, and we have a brokerage account, and we can even add some liabilities. Let's say we have credit card debt, we've got student loans, and we've got a mortgage, $10 mortgage, nothing better, right? Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna lay all these out so that we can start to see them in a little bit easier manner. Here we have it, a little bit of a flow. We're gonna have our salary up top, and what I can do here is I can actually edit these numbers. So let's pretend you're making $10,000 per month. So I'll just edit that number, and then we can leave a few of these the same. Let's actually change our mortgage. Let's just say this is, I don't know, $340,000. Student loan is $22,000, and the credit card is $4,200. And as you can see here, it'll identify the type of debt, who it's for, the number, the next payment date, and the minimum amount due. Some of these other ones, it'll also show the interest rate and all sorts of information. Again, you'll have more functionality when you're actually signed up and inside of the real system, but we just wanted to give you the basics of how to utilize Sequence in this playground version. So what I would do next if I'm setting this up is we have this additional button called Pod. You might be asking, what's a pod? A pod is simply just a checking account. We can instantly create checking accounts for you and assign them to any any service that we want. So a pod is typically used as a way to send money to Thread Bank, fully FDIC insured bank, which is our partner bank that allows us to instantly transfer money. So instead of sending money from salary directly to checking and savings and our brokerage accounts, what we would typically do is set something up like this. We would say this is our spending account, and instantly it's created a new checking account with a routing number and account number, and you'll even get a virtual debit card so that you can use this. You can add it to your Apple Wallet or your Android phone. You can use that debit card number and this account number so you can actually pay from it. And I'll add a few more. I'll add our debt, and I'll add one for our investing. And now what we can do is we can actually start to create these rules, because now we've created our income source, we've synced our existing accounts, and we've created new pods or checking accounts based on the different sections that we want our money to go into. So what I would do now is I would click on salary and drag a rule to any account that I want to send money. So let's start with our investment account. And you'll have two different options. You can trigger it by incoming funds, which means anytime you get paid or money hits that income source, this rule will run. Or you can trigger it by date. So maybe you want to do it once a week or bi-weekly or once a month. You have that option that you can decide whether you want it to happen instantly any single time that you get paid, or you can start to set it up so it happens every 2 weeks. A lot of people like to do time-based just because it helps them get on more of a budget if they have fluctuating incomes, or if you only have one income source, like you're working your normal job and you're paid bi-weekly. Some people prefer for this to happen every single time that they get paid instantly. In this case, let's trigger by incoming funds. And what we'll do is, let's say we're using the 50-30-20 strategy, similar to Ramit Sethi's conscious spending plan. What we'll do is we'll say we want 30% to go to savings. What I can do now is I can click add an account. I can say 50% goes to our spending account, and you'll see all of these drop downs here. And I can have the remaining 20% go to our debt account. Now, when I click save, what that means is every single time I get paid, in this case, let's assume it's $5,000 that you're paid every other week for the total of $10,000. What will happen is every single time that money hits this account or our paycheck is deposited, 30% will go to investing, 50% will go to our spending account, and 20% will go to our debt account. Just as simple as that. Now, some people just use these pods for all of their spending, but if you don't want to change your bank and you're using a bank that you like, well, all we need to do is now simply click and create the rules to send the money to your actual bank account. And now again, we have the option to trigger it every single time money hits, or we can trigger it by date. Just so that you can see it, let's trigger this by date so that you can see both options. I'll pick a trigger schedule, and let's do this bi-weekly so that we can mimic when we're getting paid. And what we can do is we can either transfer a fixed amount, we can transfer a percentage of it, we can round that account down to a certain amount and have all of the money on top of it going here, or we can top it up. Top up would be typically used for an emergency fund. Let's say you want to have 3 months of savings set aside in your emergency fund, which we'll do here shortly. We can top up that account, which means it will continue to fill up that account by a certain increment every single time money is available until you get there. So maybe it's $20,000 you want in your emergency savings account. Well, we can set $20,000 as the top-up amount, and it'll continue to fill that account until it gets there. When it gets there, it'll bypass that rule and send the money elsewhere. So what we can do now is we can click and drag, and let's try this savings. Trigger by date. We will do this bi-weekly, and we will top up our savings balance to $20,000. And I can even add a limit. You might be asking, what's a limit? Well, a limit will literally limit the amount of money that can go into that account per transfer, per week, per month, or per year. So if you want to make sure that every single time you're getting paid, you're not putting more than $300 into that account, not a problem. We can do that. So what we have here is we're going to top up our savings to $20,000, meaning we want it to keep being deposited until it gets to $20,000, but we're only going to do $300 per transfer. Now I'll click to add another rule. I'll click percentage of the remainder. In this case, I want 100% of what's left in the spending account to go to our checking account. I click save. And just like that, we have the rule set up. So every single time we get paid and our paycheck is deposited into the income source, it will split 50-30-20 into the spending account, the investing account, and the debt account. And then on a bi-weekly basis, we'll have money flowing into the savings account as well as the checking account. The savings account will continue to fill $300 each time until it gets to $20,000, with 100% of the remainder going to checking. Now, to give you an idea, we can do that same piece for the rest of our investing accounts and for our debt accounts. So we can trigger this every single time money is coming in or trigger it by date. Let's go back to incoming source. And what we can do here is we note that we have a brokerage account, we have a 401k, and we have an IRA. The 401k is obviously pre-tax money, so we're not going to be depositing here because in our instance, we're using post-tax money because it's already hit our checking account. So what I'll do is I'll split it between the brokerage account and we'll relabel this Roth IRA. So I want 50% to go to the brokerage account. And I'm going to add another rule. I'm going to say 100% of the remainder is going to go to the IRA. And I'm going to add a limit because this is a Roth IRA. Right now, I believe it's $7,000 per year. That's the maximum. So I'm going to add a limit of $7,000 per year. So once it hits that amount, it will not fund it anymore. And thus we can make sure that we're not going over on our contributions. So by clicking save, we'll do that. And just like that, we have everything set up. And I'll move our 401k up top because that's pre-tax money. Again, simple as that. And if you ever want to change the name, we'll just hop in here and say Roth IRA. We can even change the emoji, and just like that, we're good to go. So hopefully this helps. I want to give you a quick breakdown on how the playground works, how you can play around with it to figure out your ideal model. And remember, you should sign up because not only do you have these features inside of the real experience, but you've got so many more. And we even have incorporated a simulation tool so that once you have all of your accounts synced and uploaded, you can create your rules and simulate income coming in and see exactly how it'll flow to make sure that you're setting enough side money for your spending, for your investing, for your debt payments, and making sure that everything's perfect before you actually execute it. So hopefully this was helpful. And if you have any more questions, keep watching the next video.